Breaking news, rogue FBI agent just explained how corrupt agents tried to take Trump out. His life is now in danger. This is bad by Al Weisman for Freedom Daily. Who would have thought just one short year ago that ground zero for the globalist deep state and the DC swamp was the FBI? It's now being reported that our own FBI used the bought and paid for by the Democrat Party and the crooked Hillary Clinton campaign fake Russian dossier on then candidate Donald Trump to justify the wiretapping of Trump Tower. President Trump tweeted back in March of 2017 that he believed the Obama administration and their operatives ordered the wiretapping of Trump Tower during the heated 2016 presidential election. The FBI replied by taunting him to provide proof which might have come this week. I remember even the news people were making fun of him. During FBI Director Christopher Wray's testimony this past Thursday before the House Judiciary Committee, he had a very interesting back and forth with Florida Republican Representative Ron DeSantis that may have contained a major revelation as to the validity of President Trump's claim. DeSantis asked Wray if the discredited Trump-Russia dossier was actually used as the basis for obtaining a wiretap warrant under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act to spy on Trump members of his campaign and family. Wray refused to answer the question as not to perjure himself. What does that tell you? The Canada Free Press reports, guess who says the FBI used the fake Trump dossier to justify opening the Russia investigation? Let's make sure we're caught up here. We know that in 2016 the FBI launched an investigation into whether the Trump campaign was in cahoots with the Russian government to influence the election. And we know that as part of this investigation, the FBI convinced a FISA court to wiretap Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort. Remember when Trump said Obama had Trump Tower wiretapped and everyone said Trump was making it up? Manafort lives in Trump Tower. Trump was telling the truth. But the more important question is whether the FBI used bogus information to persuade the FISA court to approve the wiretap. We've been speculating here for some time that the now infamous Trump dossier, prepared by former British spy Christopher Steele, which has been widely discredited, was part of the FBI's case for the wiretap of another Trump advisor, Carter Page, possibly a significant part. Is that true? Last night we told you the Hillary campaign helped pay for the creation of the dossier. Now we have a named source saying on record that the FBI did indeed connect the dossier to the larger Russian investigation, and the source is Hillary Clinton. Quoting from her awful book, What Happened? You Lost. In the summer of 2016, according to the Washington Post, the FBI convinced the Special Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court that there was probably abuse to believe that Trump advisor Carter Page was acting as a Russian agent, and they received a warrant to monitor his communications. The FBI also began investigating a dossier prepared by a well-respected British spy that contained explosive and salacious allegations about compromising information the Russians had on Trump. Note how Hillary makes reference to all this as if she had nothing to do with it. Classic. When she wrote the book, she obviously didn't know it would later become public knowledge that her campaign helped pay for the dossier, so she probably figured she could pretend to be disinterested, a disinterested third party, simply making reference to something in the news. Luckily for her, not many people will read her vomit-inducing book. Unlucky for her, you now know this part is in there. You think the Democrats are still happy they insisted on starting this Russian investigation? That's a good one. I like that. So did the FBI use the dossier to justify the FISA request? Yes, they did, because they remember back then that it was reported that they had gone to the FISA court repeatedly, like about 30 times or something, to get a FISA warrant, and it was always declined. And then that's why they brought in the dossier, to show like the dossier in order to get an approval, because they were kept on being turned down by the FISA for the request. If it was part of what they were investigating, why wouldn't they? If they took it as seriously as Hillary claims, it would make no sense to withhold it when you're trying to make the case you've got reasonable cause to wiretap a target. That's why they made the dossier, because they were being refused by the FISA to get a FISA warrant. Better question, at what point did the FBI realize the dossier was crap? Or did they know all along? They knew all along. Of course they knew. It was just made up, and see if they can push it to get the FISA thing. And then, because of that, they opened the investigation. Why not get more money, bang out of their money that they spent, right? Because if they used a fake dossier to justify the wiretap of Page and Manafort, you know where they're going. That means a Democratic administration was wiretapping top officials of a Republican presidential campaign on false pretenses. Surprise, surprise, everybody, right? That's worse than Watergate. No, really? Because you're not only bugging your opponent, you're also corrupting law enforcement to help you get away with it. Well, that's right up Hillary's alley. And if that's what happens, it's not only Hillary who's complicit, it's Obama too. We know that already. I mean, would you have to be a genius to know this? His presidency is over, thank God, but he could still be held criminally accountable. No, well, that's what we're praying for this, if it's shown he knew about it, or worse yet, directed it on Hillary's behalf. Of course. I mean, it's a serious issue, but at the same time, when you're hearing so much news about this stuff, you could literally go bonkers, Anyway, getting back to this, you think the Democrats are still happy they insisted on starting this Russia investigation? No, because it's going to go into deeper things, like the uranium one. I can't wait to see her face. This is priceless once they start questioning her about the uranium one deal. As we can now see, the FBI is corrupt to the core. Okay, we know that. And paid with our tax dollars. That's real serious stuff, but let's go. The whole institution needs to be investigated, and some people need to go to prison over this. We can't wait. Then we have to take a long, hard look at the option that maybe the whole thing needs to be disbanded and replaced with an organization which will work within the law. Seems like the FBI for years now has been more concerned about the rights of foreign nationals than those American citizens who pay their salaries. Now that's something to really get aggravated about. Please share if you agree the FBI needs to be investigated and disbanded. Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. And they're more concerned about foreign nationals than the American citizen who pays their salaries. Is so right on point. Right on point. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.